Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to this week's Hot Stocks Outlook for February 9th, 2018. Hope you're all having an excellent week in the financial markets, and boy, have we had a ton of volatility in the market that's really opened up a tremendous amount of trading opportunities. But we're going to start here by looking at a really wide variety of stocks. We've got electronic arts. We're going to look at AK Steel. So we talked about a lot of those metal and mining companies that were trending up, now starting some of those reversals to the downside. We also have Motorola, Baker Hughes, and also Pulte Homes. So the home builders, another sector that have seen a big decline here and really keeping us on top of these markets and some of these opportunities that are opening up. But of course, let's go ahead and start here with electronic arts. And what we have here is we're actually looking within VantagePoint 10. So a new version of the software with really a lot of updated functionality for you. And the most important thing is, of course, the forecasts and these predictive indicators that we're looking at and utilizing day to day. Now, what we have are the daily bars and candles here on electronic arts. And against that price data, we have our predicted moving average being this blue line, and then our lagging simple moving average being the black line. But we also have a very clear designation of the green area filling in between those two to create that nice uptrend signal. So you can really see when the market's in an uptrend, when it's in a downtrend. Now at the very bottom of the chart, we have our neural index designated by a green. So green being your up at a 1 value and 0 for your red value. So green and red now to designate that neural index. And what we can see here with Pulte Homes is I've got my cursor line running all the way back to this first candle day here. And we can see that we get this crossover between this predicted moving average. We get a value of 106.82, well above this simple moving average of 106.69, which designates that this market is in an uptrend. You'd want to look for long positions. However, just like with the previous versions of VantagePoint, we have our predicted high and low range, which we really want to take note of and utilize for our trading moving forward. So what we can see here is that as a trader, you're really prepared to buy at these predicted levels. And so what I talk about really every week in these videos is utilizing these indicators to help you adapt with those changing market conditions so that you can be prepared to get not only good intraday entries, but of course participate in these longer term trend reversals and moves. So we can see here over the course of this trade from this initial entry, there's been numerous entries in this uptrend that appears to still be moving higher, but this market's up over 14% just in the past 24 trading days. So that's what's going to keep you able to adapt with those changing market conditions, really improve your overall position as the market trades, and more importantly, keep you on the right side of the market, because when we get a lot of this volatility, you certainly want to know that trend direction when things are getting ready to reverse. So we move over to AK Steel, which we talked a lot about the gold and silver miners. A lot of these aluminum companies especially were doing quite well. Well, we see AK Steel actually with a crossover on January 22nd to the downside, signaling that, okay, now it's time to go ahead and get short the market. We had our neural index down at a 0, but you see our neural index comes up to a 1, and it's green configuration here. And that's what lets us know that there's short-term strength just over the next couple of trading days. But what you'll notice here is that our predicted moving average, so our trend forecast, still remains below the actual moving average. And we still have that red designation for this market being in a downtrend. Now, the really nice part about this is once you understand, okay, well, there's areas in the market where I can look to get short. You can see this is going all the way back to January, really before we started to get really the extreme volatility in the S&P comes all the way really in February here. But what we have is a situation where, again, you want to look towards your predicted high and low levels to guide you with that trade management. So understanding, okay, well, I want to short at these predicted highs. We're getting this short-term strength in the market, but as long as that trend remains to the downside, you want to keep shorting the shares and really just taking short positions as long as that indication there remains in place for you. So AK Steel here, we can see this is just a tremendous move lower. If we bring up the profit calculator, we can see just over a very short period of time, not only getting a good entry as far as the overall trend, is about a 37% move lower, but multiple entries to manage your position, take some short-term profits, but make sure you remain on the short side of that market, catch that 37% move lower in AK Steel. So really phenomenal move there. We can go ahead, move forward to some additional opportunities here in Motorola. So exactly the same methodology and approach. We're using the same indicators to help manage these positions, identify when that trend has reversed. And we can see very clearly with this blue line, our predicted moving average above that lagging moving average, that summary of where the markets have been, and a very clear designation that you want to get long the market. The trend is up. We've got all this green space here to really highlight that for you. And we can use this neural index in the very short term to understand, all right, well, when can we get some short-term or expect some short-term weakness in the market? But of course, we'd want to look to be buyers over that time period here. So again, moving back to our predicted moving averages, or our predicted highs and lows rather, we can bring those up and see exactly what this guidance looks like day to day in the market. So you buy back on this decline in the market on this day. You're buying on this day before this tremendous move higher. You're buying pretty much at the perfect point in the low of the intraday range there. You're buying on this dip, but understanding the trend remains to the upside. So you can see it's not even a couple days later, all of these markets, even with this volatility, moving into profit. So multiple entries over the course of this trade to be taking positions on this market, adding to your overall position, and getting involved in a really nice trending move higher here. So we can see here on Motorola Systems here, up move of about 10%, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 profitable entries so far in that uptrend. So whether you want to be a trend trader and ride those longer term trends until your predicted moving average crosses below, or if you want to be trading that shorter term price action and understand, look, what price levels do I want to be waiting for to participate in these sort of market moves? Next opportunity here, Baker Hughes. So really the oil and gas space here. Here we have, again, another clear crossover to the downside, signaling look to go ahead, start shorting the market. And you can see how a lot of these markets were coming through really at the midpoint to late point of January. So really getting you ahead of a lot of this excessive weakness we've seen in the S&P 500. But of course, utilizing the entirety of the forecast. So understand the market's in a downtrend. You see, we may get some short-term strength from our neural index, and that's where we get those retracements in the trend. But overall, of course, you want to be shorting this market in line with this very clear downtrend. We, of course, move to those predicted high and low levels, and you just see how effective this software is at guiding you moving forward throughout the trend. So we don't get picked up here, but a very close move towards that predicted high, get picked up there, get picked up there. And this is a really nice move lower over the course of this trend here. We see this market so far from that first entry, so that first predicted high level that was achieved for a short position, market's down 24%. So, even if you trade options or you're looking to just short the shares, you can go in and buy a put option when the market gets up to this predicted high price of 35.41. It's probably when you're going to get one of the better prices on any of your option contracts that you're trading over this month here. And last but not least, of course, let's end on, these home builders here. A lot of the home building stocks have had tremendous rallies to the upside. We highlighted, DR Horton earlier in the year, Lennar. Some of these trends have just gone up and up and up. But of course, we want to understand when that situation has changed and when it really highlights to us we should be looking to start shorting the market, or certainly exiting our long position. So here we see this predicted average moves below the actual moving average. And of course, that alerts us and lets us know, let's go in with those VantagePoint tools, use our predicted high and low ranges, and look to start setting short positions on the market. We see you get a pickup at that predicted high level here, another level achieved here. The next day, a couple days later, next day, this day, almost all of these days as a shorter term trader, you're moving immediately into profit over the course of, the entire trend here. Of course, we can take a look at this entire move, which has really been over just about 10 or 12 trading days here, really 9 trading days here, 13% move to the downside in a very, very short period of time. So an excellent entry to go ahead and, hedge some of your long positions in the market, take some shorts, and really transition that portfolio as we start to experience a lot more of this volatility in the S&P 500. And you can see in this market where you've had a few entries to the downside, your neural index here just continually forecasting that weakness to the downside, never even signaling that we're going to get any sort of up move. And you see we just move lower really each and every day. Huge amount of separation between that predicted moving average and, of course, the actual moving average there. So, of course, guys, again, this has been our hot stocks outlook for February 9th, 2018. Best of luck to all the traders out there in the markets. Of course, thank you for watching, and bye for now.